The Outliers Podcast is a copyrighted presentation of Outliers Writing University. All rights reserved. Learn more at outlierswritinguniversity.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Outliers YouTube channel and podcast series and our program, Get to Know. I'm your host, DP Lyle, and I'm here with my partner in crime, Kathleen Antrim.
Thanks, Doug. It's great to be here. And I have to say that we've got an exceptionally interesting author with us today. He's the USA Today bestselling author, and he's nominated for an Edgar Award in the Best Novel category. Adam Plantinga, welcome to Get to Know.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here on the show. And as our viewers know, I'm going to kind of lay you down on the couch and ask you about your childhood.
Okay.
So my question is, do you feel that your childhood contributed to you becoming a writer? And, tell us a little bit about your childhood. Were you introverted? Were you extroverted? Did you read a lot? Did you have imaginary friends? If you did, of course, we want to know their names. Tell us about it.
No imaginary friends, but, my parents were big readers. My dad read to my brother and me when we were kids, both, Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn, and then just stories that he would make up. And then my mom would take us to the local public library, and we'd fill up grocery bags full of books. Everything from Tolkien to the Encyclopedia Brown books, which I think might have gotten me interested in investigations. So I always was a big reader. Kind of got the writing bug early on as a kid, and ended up being an English major.
Wow.
So how old were you when you first got the writing bug and started writing stories or what have you?
Well, in the sixth grade, we're going back that far.
Yeah, we are.
I wrote a book called Space Warrior, which was not a book, a sort of a short story, and it was about a warrior who was in space, did most of his work up there, and it won some sort of honorable mention in a local contest. I'm sure you both heard of it. This was like Grand Rapids, Michigan, circa 1981.
And you did your own illustrations, right?
Yeah, I did. I did do my own illustrations. So I think Space Warrior was maybe the start of something. But I got a short story published in college with the help of a writing professor, and I think just kind of got a taste of writing and publishing then, and just kept at it.
Where did you go to college?
Went to Marquette University.
Oh, okay.
In Milwaukee, Wisconsin, also known as the Paris of the Midwest.
Yes, I have heard that as well. So, all right, so you go to college, and one of the most interesting things about you, I think, besides obviously being a writer, is the fact that you got into police work. Let's talk about how that happened and then what the progression was to actually writing professionally.
Yeah, so I started with the Milwaukee Police Department in 2001 and was a cop there for about 7 years, and then moved out to San Francisco because my wife took a job out here, and I just tagged right along. But my first two books were nonfiction about police work. I think it's a fascinating job, and there's so many different aspects to it that I thought that sort of the reading public would find interesting too. So I I did those two books, but I thought I'd sort of said everything I wanted to say about police work. So I wanted to transition to fiction. I have 3 or 4 novels kind of in a back deep desk drawer that remain unpublished, and for the
No one's allowed to grab them and publish them.
For the sake of readers everywhere, should remain unpublished. But I think I had to write some lousy novels before I could write one that was sort of halfway decent.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, so just trial and error, and got lucky with a literary agent, and here we are.
That's really interesting. In fact, you're now in San Francisco, is that correct?
Yeah, working in San Francisco.
Yeah, I have a nephew who's a deputy sheriff over in Oakland. But yeah, you guys are in some dangerous areas, I have to say.
Well,
Yeah.
you got involved in internet crimes against children, and that's obviously a huge and growing topic and concern. How did you transition over to that from just being a quote cop?
Yeah, so I was a street cop and a patrol sergeant for quite a while. Was a little beat up from the job, was having some back and knee problems. Probably was no longer the guy you wanted to chase an 18-year-old down a dark alley. So, and the job of internet crimes against children seemed like a righteous assignment to me. So I've been doing that for almost a year,
Wow.
and it's child pornography and child exploitation cases. And the work is uh, undoubtedly difficult, but it is also satisfying to make an arrest at the end of a long investigation.
Oh,
And
shit.
I work with good people. I have a supportive family, and yeah, still kind of. I mean, it's a steep learning curve with those type of investigations, but learning a lot and just trying to get a little better each day.
Good.
Wow, it's just fascinating. And now, what you're writing, does it have anything to do with your experience as far as the cyber side of it with children, or is it related to being a street cop? Talk to us a little bit about your books and, the one that's been nominated.
So my first two novels were the first one was set in a private prison. There's a riot that breaks out. It's called The Ascent. And then the second book is called Hard Town, which is a continuation of the same character from the first.
Love that. Love that cover. That
Yeah,
is a
the artist
great.
that did that cover did a bang up job. I haven't gotten into the internet crimes against children in my writing. I'm not sure if I will. I don't know if it's something that I want to write about, or
Mm.
Exactly.
maybe that necessarily readers want to read about. And if they do, I think it'd have to be handled very carefully. Um, but the first two books are mostly informed by my work as a street cop in terms of how criminals act and investigative techniques, sort of fighting techniques, sort of meat and potato stuff.
So
Really cool.
so what's your process? I mean, are you a pantser, an outliner? Do you just start telling a story and see where it goes, or do you have it all plotted out ahead of time? What's your method? What's the method to your madness?
That's my madness.
Yeah,
I don't have a really well established process, and if either of you have one, I'd love to hear about it. Maybe borrow it. I find myself I usually more or less knowing how the book is going to start and how it's going to end, and then just sort of filling in that tricky middle.
right.
Um, but
So that's
I,
what I do. You kind of meander
yeah,
your way through it and see what happens. Exactly. Okay.
there's some
Yeah.
meandering,
No, that's good. That's good.
but I think the nice thing about not um, being a complete plotter is that you can sometimes sort of pleasantly surprise yourself as a reader. So then you think, well, oh, okay, if I pleasantly surprise myself, maybe I'll be pleasantly surprising the reader as well. So
Sure.
I don't know. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah. What were the two or three most important things you think you learned between the books that are in the drawer and will never see the light of day and these that have gotten published and nominated for awards and all that stuff? What do you think the
Yeah.
biggest thing you learned that made that transition for you?
Well, that's a good question. I think uh, probably the main thing is with my first couple books, my failed attempts at um, writing a halfway decent novel, I found myself sort of being a pale imitation of other authors that I really admired. So, for instance, James Lee Burke, uh, who writes so evocatively of
Yep.
sort of the Louisiana area, Robert B. Parker Spencer. I read those folks and I found myself writing sort of a poor man's version of them. And I'm not Robert B. Parker and I'm not James Lee Burke, and I shouldn't try to be. So I had to kind of find my own voice um, and sort of dig it out of there. That was part of it, I think. I think I have found my own voice. And then the other thing was just sort of if I'm writing thrillers, just cutting down on the fat, taking out everything that's not essential to the story, just make it sort of mean and lean, the classic sort of killing your darlings, killing your babies. If it's a finely written passage and very evocative, but it doesn't move the story forward, it's got to go. And that's a hard lesson to learn.
Or as Elmore said, leave out the parts people skip.
It's
And
one of the best quotes about writing ever.
exactly. And it takes to understand what he meant by that, you really have to do a lot of writing. And I think your process and your evolution is exactly what we all went through. You think you know how to do this because you read a lot, and then you sit down and actually start trying to do it, and you realize, whoa, this is not that easy.
That's right. It's sort of hard.
Yeah.
It's very hard, actually.
So let me ask you this. What were you doing at the exact moment you learned that this had been nominated for an Edgar?
I was at work and I got a text from a buddy of mine who sent me I think an Instagram shot of the nominees, but he sent it as a text message, and I don't have Instagram on my phone, just on my computer. So I said, what are you talking about? And then he told me that it had been nominated for an Edgar, and I thought it was possibly a clerical error of some kind. But I'll take it. It was, it was a very pleasant surprise.
Yes, it's
it's huge, and
yeah.
we'll be keeping our fingers crossed for you when the final word comes on Edgar night. Are you going to go back to New York and be there?
I am, and I'm actually taking my 13-year-old daughter as my travel pal. She's been to New York a time or two. She loves New York, and she was telling me, Dad, I want to go to the West Village and to Soho and to Chelsea. And I'm like, hey, kiddo, how do you know about all these neighborhoods? And she said, from Gossip Girl, the show,
yeah,
the show Gossip Girl. So that's informed her view of the Big Apple. So I think that'll be a fine time, the two of us.
But yeah,
well, have you been to the Edgar Awards before?
I have not, but I heard they're a hoot.
Oh, you're gonna love it. As a nominee, it's a different animal. They have the cocktail party beforehand, so just absorb it. And she will be in heaven. I mean, because this is the Academy Awards of writing. This is huge.
It's very big. I mean, whether you actually win or not, it's honestly irrelevant because you've already won just by being a nominee. That's such a big deal.
Yeah, there's a couple authors who will be in attendance that I'm looking forward to meeting and hanging out with. And yeah, I think it's going to be a good time.
Yeah.
We're also going to see a Yankees game, and we're going to see Hamilton, and we're going to make a week out of it.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And Doug's got some great recommendations. We could do off air for restaurants because he's a foodie. So.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Hey, Doug, while I have you here, I am the proud owner of this book.
Bless you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just contacted me and they want me to do another revised version, which will be the third one of it. So we're talking to them about that, and we'll see. So
nicely done.
Very fun.
The first one was 2005. The second version was 2015. So it's time for the third version. So let's see what's changed. Mainly DNA, if you want to know the truth.
Yeah, for sure.
Not much else has changed. Everything. In fact, a lot of the stuff's been thrown away, as you well know.
Yeah, it's interesting.
They're getting rid of more forensic techniques than they're coming online.
Yeah, some of them have fallen a little out of favor.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Adam, please tell our viewers where they can find more about you and where they can get your books.
I've got a website. My wife helped me with it. That's the only reason it looks halfway respectable. I'm on the old Twitter, which is X now. I like to crack wise on that platform. I am on Instagram, but my daughters tell me I'm not really using it correctly, so I don't know about that. And then, of course, if people are interested in my books, which is flattering, I always try to tell them, head to your local independent bookstore first and see if they can order it for you if it's not on the shelf, and go from there.
So what's your website address?
It's Adam.Plantinga at .org. I don't know. I really should know that.
You should.
Eventually.
But
People don't ask me about my website that often.
Well, when they Google you, it'll probably come
when
up.
we
should
post
pop
the
up.
interview, we will put it up there, so it'll
Yeah,
go on
let us know,
YouTube.
yeah.
And
Let's
other
cut that
podcasts.
part out and post. That made me
Yeah,
sound like an amateur.
No. You'd be
So,
surprised how
Adam-
many people don't know that. Yeah.
Yeah. So this has been a great interview. Love having you on. When your next book comes out, we'd love to have you back.
I appreciate that.
Keep us posted, and we'll be watching the Edgar Awards. And Doug, I'll throw it back to you.
Yeah, Adam, thank you so much. We had a great time. And congratulations. I mean, this has literally changed your life. Trust me on this. You know, it's being nominated for an Edgar is a big deal. So enjoy it, roll with it, have fun with it. Win,
I
lose, or
appreciate
draw.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that wraps up this episode of Get to Know here on the Outliers YouTube channel and podcast series. And as you know, we'll be back with other interviews and other fun stuff down the road. So until then, keep writing, keep having fun, keep reading, don't get caught.
The Outliers Podcast is a copyrighted presentation of Outliers Writing University. All rights reserved. Learn more at outlierswritinguniversity.com.